Using hot water to recrystallize benzoic acid. Add the benzoic acid sample to a conical flask. Then add a clean stirrer bar to prevent flash boiling. Add a small amount of water. Place the suspension on a hot plate and heat it to boiling. Add a small amount of water in several portions until the solid dissolves completely. To obtain a better yield, do not add excess water. Besides, you may use the following two methods to dissolve solid sample for recrystallization. Add a small amount of hot water in several portions to sample in a conical flask until the solid dissolves completely. This method is simpler, but since the solution is not boiling, the yield is lower. Place the suspension on the hot plate and heat it to boiling. Add a small amount of hot water in several portions until the solid dissolves completely. This method can reduce the amount of time needed to dissolve the sample. Turn off the hot plate. Place the flask on the bench. Cover the conical flask with a clean watch glass. Allow the solution to cool down to room temperature slowly. Do not disturb the solution when the product crystallizes. If the solution cools too rapidly, the crystals obtained will be very small in size. When the solution cools to room temperature, the crystallization is completed. If there is no crystal formed after cooling the solution to room temperature, the following methods may be used to induce crystallization. Scratch the inner wall of the flask with a glass rod. Place the solution in an ice water bath. Add a tiny benzoic acid crystal. If necessary, hot filtration can be carried out to remove insoluble impurity. First, preheat a conical flask and a stemless filter funnel by placing them into an oven. Filter the hot and saturated benzoic acid solution in several portions. In the whole filtration process, the solution should be kept boiling. After finishing the hot filtration, allow the solution to cool slowly for the crystals to form. Collecting and washing the crystals. First, use a spatula to scrape the crystals off from the inner wall of the flask, and then collect the crystals from the mixture by suction filtration. Finally, collect the crystals on a clean dish or on a piece of filter paper.